The call to arms on climate change came at the 6th World Conference of Science Journalists in London. In a plenary session entitled Gearing Up for Copenhagen, a former chief scientific advisor to the UK government, Sir David King, accused Canada and Japan of blocking progress.
Copenhagen is faltering at the moment. At the meeting in Bonn a few weeks ago, we had several countries stepping into the breach left by the Bush White House regime. What I mean is now the Americans are fully engaged in discussions on how we achieve a good protocol, but there are several countries, and I would name Japan and Canada as the leaders of these, who are stepping into that breach and blocking the process.
The Copenhagen summit is the successor to the 1997 meeting in Kyoto, Japan, that drew up the first protocol to cut greenhouse gases. More than 180 countries will attend, and the United Nations is urging them to set targets to cut emissions by up to 40%.
It's critically important that we see the reduction of use of fossil fuels and therefore reduction of emissions of greenhouse gases as an extremely important part of what would revive the economy. So I don't see any contradiction at all. And this is where I would submit that between now and Copenhagen, if the media could highlight the fact that, really speaking, this recession, if anything, gives us an opportunity. It gives us a basis for seeing what needs to be done, which is good in itself.
We have never in our lifetimes seen the kind of transition we're now talking about. This impacts on every part of our economy, whether it's the infrastructure, whether it's the manufacturing sector, whether it's the consumer sector. It impacts throughout our society. And Patcha used the word opportunity. This is an amazing opportunity for the innovators in the private sector who will see that they can get ahead of their competitors by getting there first into low carbon.
The conference heard that the impact of climate change, such as melting glaciers, will be felt most in developing countries, and the speakers urged journalists to highlight the issue in the run-up to Copenhagen.
A number of underprivileged societies are really going to be very badly hit. This is a fact which is not covered adequately, and I think we need to provide specifics on what's going to happen in some of the poorest regions of the world. I think that would be very important in providing the rationale for action in Copenhagen.
The world's biggest polluters are the United States and China, but Dr. King said there were encouraging signs that they would eventually sign up to an emission-cutting deal.
If Premier Wen Jiabao, who is a visionary on this issue, a remarkable man, stood with the other remarkable world leader, Obama, on one platform and said, this is an issue we have to deal with, and therefore this is the bilateral agreement between China and the United States, which would, for example, involve an agreement on reduction of emissions. That, together with the European position, would be a significant step forward.
The science journalists were told they have 6 months to raise public awareness of climate change issues before the crucial Copenhagen summit.